Hello, trading has closed on the 23rd of August, 2024. We always do our disclaimer first. We'll go over our calls and make some predictions. This is my trading plan for Monday. Monday is August 26th, 2024. Please remember my calls can be completely wrong. Any trade you make should be made at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early high, which is this. Monday should also have the early high. We had a price target 55.94.31. I made it my call, but I said it might not work. Obviously it did work, and that gets crossed off the list. This price isn't just a target, it's also support resistance. So here's your support at and just past the target price. Here's what we said. Now I also said if we couldn't gap and promptly take out the high a day, we should see lower prices. Well, there's no lower prices here, and all I can say is we didn't miss the high a day by much, but time hasn't run out yet. As of now, I'm not convinced this is good enough. This pattern should close near the high, and we've had many attempts and so far haven't been able to do it. Now this is just backing and filling as far as I'm concerned, and this all-day rally couldn't even close over these early highs. So I'm not thrilled with this thing, strong as it was, 64 points. But time hasn't run out yet, and we can still gap, take this out and make me a liar with egg on my face, but for now at least it's just backing and filling, and until this high falls I think we might undercut this low. Well, during the day MEJT gave an ultimate buy signal and that played out, and the buy signal and that played out too. So let's see what some other indicators have to say. We're still with this DeMark bar 9 of setup. It doesn't require consolidating, it doesn't require pulling back, but it just happens a large part of the time. So far this is a false move, but to confirm it, it really has to break out over some highs. Until that happens, we can't dismiss this drop from yesterday. Even though we correctly said we could rally today, doesn't mean the drop is over and done. They take out some highs. Well, here's this trend line that hasn't been broken yet. We're challenging the old high. This is RSI, the Relative Strength Index. As we're challenging the old high, that is not keeping pace. Now it's still over 50, which is a sign of a bull move. But you'd be happier if this were keeping pace, because it means the market is losing strength. You can say the same thing about MEJT. This is MEJT. I mean, you're approaching this here, and this is much weaker. Doesn't tell you what happens Monday, but it's not what you want to see. Now this is our wave count. We had this ABC at the top. This is either blue B or A of B. And as long as we're inside this channel here, this could be, with two question marks, end of B of B. Magenta B of blue B. You can gap over this and kill the whole idea. We've challenged it enough times that breaking through is plausible, and almost always when you rally like this on a Friday, you should follow through Monday. If we follow through Monday, as what usually happens, and gap over this, then forget everything I'm saying. But if we can't do that, and particularly if we gap down instead, which I think is possible, This is a wall into the close. If we gap down instead, it's a very negative pattern which should last more than a few days. That one we've seen. Now there's no perfect way to count this. I'm not thrilled with any of my counts, but we said this could be A, and if you measure, you could call this A of magenta B, B of magenta B, and if that's 38.2, you've got 100% right at the high, so there is a wave count that works. Now, Tom DeMark has a thing called TD lines. You connect these pies here, you gapped over the line, and that creates an upside target. What you do is you measure the greatest distance under the line, and you should go the same distance over the line. Look at that. You're the same distance over the line. Now, it's not a stop and reverse, but it's the target of this breakout. You don't have to go any further. And if you are going to go further, it would be ideal if you gapped up. And if you gap up, all is forgiven. But right now, I think this is a very iffy case for the bulls. And particularly if we gap down, which has not happened yet, it could be a sizable decline. Now, broadening top formations, frankly, aren't as negative as most people make them out to be. A lot of times they're very hard to break through, but this is the last few days' action, and you can see we've hit the upper channel 3 times, we've hit the lower channel 5 times. Usually the one you hit more times is the one that breaks, and as of now, so far, we've been unable to get back up to the upper line. So this is all negative stuff. If it's maintained, it puts the burden of proof on the bulls, and they really need to gap up to take us higher, and if they can't do that, we could undercut this low, maybe not in a day, but I think with all deliberate speed, as the saying goes. These are the patterns I'm looking for next week. Monday's pattern has the early high regardless of where we open. Typically it's a rally day with a high and a fine lower, but if it's weak, we should see more weakness. Thursday's straight line drop is followed by an inside day today, Friday. Larry Williams' work says we should rally on Monday. Friday's high was so close to Thursday's, I'm just going to ignore that signal. So far, in capitals, we just have backing and filling of the Thursday drop with a day-long rally, unable to manage a close over Thursday's high or today's early highs. Now, time doesn't run out until early Monday, but if we can't gap and clear recent highs, I think we're going to see lower prices Monday. Now, Norm Linsky has a change in trend day after Friday's close. Remember, he's right about 80% of the time, and his last call nailed the low, but good. There's strong resistance at the high for the reasons we've shown. Gapping over recent highs, if maintained, would be credible for extending the rally. But if the market can't do that, I think the odds favor trading lower, and perhaps much lower over more than just a day. Now, this call is not a lock, and any short should be considered a counter-trend trade requiring an appropriate stop. I'm not really a big fan of stepping in front of freight train rallies like this. I'm mostly looking for places to enter long and not short, but if you are going to go short, I think this, if we can hold on to this, you have a reasonable stop with a potential sizable drop coming up, and if you're going to take one, and if you follow your stop, I think it's a reasonable place. I'm not really certain I'm going to take it myself, but if we can't go over these highs, ideally by gapping over them, and particularly if we gap down, if that happens, this could be a top here. It's the pattern with the early high. Usually it's a rally, but if it's not, it's a straight line drop, and that's possible, and that's today's call.